Pandemic Boomtowns. Where to find crazy price cuts on homes. Pandemic Boomtowns are now leading the way in price reductions. In a significant shift in the housing market, over 25% of home listings experienced price reductions in June, signaling a potential easing for homebuyers. A remarkable 26.6% of homes for sale had their prices cut in June, marking the highest percentage recorded for this month since Zillow began tracking data in 2018. Cities that saw explosive growth during the pandemic, such as Raleigh, Nashville, and Phoenix, are now at the forefront of these price cuts. Kansas City recorded the most substantial increase in price reductions from May to June, with a rise of 5 percentage points, followed closely by Buffalo, plus 3.9 points, Indianapolis, plus 3.8 points, Columbus, plus 3.3 points, and Minneapolis, plus 3.2 points. This trend may indicate a market that is cooling rapidly. After enduring years filled with competitive bidding, disappointment, and soaring prices, homebuyers might finally be experiencing a reprieve. In June, more than 1 in 4 sellers opted to lower their asking prices, a statistic that reflects the highest share on record for this time of year, according to Zillow's data. Nationally, the percentage of active listings that saw price cuts rose from 25.8% in May to 26.6% in June, compared to 24.4% a year prior. In certain markets like Raleigh, Nashville, Dallas, and Phoenix, over a third of listings had their prices slashed. These areas became popular during the pandemic, attracting remote workers with their spacious environments, sunny climates, and relatively affordable housing options. While some buyers remain hesitant due to affordability issues in certain regions, other areas are witnessing a slowdown in workforce growth. This demographic is typically the most likely to enter the housing market as potential buyers, leading to a decrease in demand in those regions as well. Key statistics. Denver tops the list for price reductions, with 38.3% of listings experiencing a price cut in June. Following closely are Raleigh at 36.4% and Dallas, Nashville, and Phoenix all at 35.5%. Many of these markets experienced rapid growth during the pandemic housing surge. Now, they are adjusting as population growth slows, and some buyers reach their financial limits. Although nationwide inventory remains 20.6% below pre-pandemic levels, it has already surpassed those levels in the 5 metros mentioned above, except for Phoenix, which is only 2% below. Conversely, price cuts are still uncommon in cities like Milwaukee, 13.9% of listings with a price cut in June, New York, 15.6%, Hartford, 16.0%, Buffalo, 18.3%, and San Jose, 22.1%. In these locations, limited inventory, both in existing homes and new constructions, keeps sellers in a strong. Kansas City led the nation with a 5-point jump, followed by Buffalo plus 3.9 points, Indianapolis plus 3.8 points, Columbus plus 3.3 points, and Minneapolis plus 3.2 points. A significant rise in price cuts often suggests a market that is cooling quickly. Impact on buyers. As inventory levels rise, buyers are gaining more leverage in the market. This shift is the first indication of meaningful negotiating power for buyers in several years. Homebuyers can anticipate fewer bidding wars, a greater number of listings to explore, and more time to weigh their options. In some particularly cool markets, seller concessions, such as rate buydowns, may also become more common. Impact on sellers. With the market rebalancing, the era of long lines at open houses is fading. Sellers are adapting to this new landscape and competing with one another to attract buyers. In this environment, effectively pricing and marketing a home becomes increasingly crucial as the number of buyers diminishes. Looking forward, more price cuts are likely on the horizon. Zillow's projections for home values and mortgage rates suggest some improvements in affordability by the end of the year, but these changes may not be sufficient to significantly impact most potential buyers. What do you think? Are we witnessing a genuine shift in the housing market? or is this just a temporary phase? Share your thoughts in the comments below. U.S. housing market update, high prices, elevated mortgage rates, and what to expect. Imagine walking into a real estate market where houses are lingering on the market longer than ever before, despite there being more homes available than in years. But here's where it gets controversial. The Federal Reserve's decision to keep interest rates steady is exacerbating the problem, leaving many potential buyers on the sidelines. High home prices and steep mortgage rates have created a perfect storm for the housing market. According to a recent Zillow report, there are now more homes for sale than at any point since 2019. This surge in inventory has not led to a decrease in prices. However, as the median sales price in the U.S. hit an all-time high of $435,300 in June. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell acknowledged the situation during a news conference, stating, "Activity in the housing sector remains weak." The Fed's reluctance to cut interest rates stems from its dual mandate of controlling inflation and maximizing employment, factors complicated by President Trump's tariffs. Currently, 30-year fixed-rate mortgages are hovering around 6.75%. Roughly the same as a year ago, but more than double what they were in 2021. A recent forecast from Realtor.com predicts rates might dip to 6.4% by the end of 2025. But even at this level, homeownership remains out of reach for most Americans. Anushna Prakash, a Zillow economic analyst, points out that mortgage rates would need to fall to 4.43% for a typical home to be affordable for someone earning the median income. Achieving such a significant rate drop is highly unlikely and would come with its own economic challenges, including potential slowdowns in economic and income growth and increased unemployment. The typical monthly mortgage payment has nearly doubled in recent years, climbing from about $1,100 in 2020 to $2,207 in 2024, unadjusted for inflation. Adjusted for inflation, this represents an additional $800 per month in costs. Given the current high interest rates and the lack of immediate relief, financial experts advise focusing on reducing high-interest debt and building emergency savings. Greg McBride, Bankrate's chief financial analyst, suggests those with less debt and more savings will be best positioned to weather whatever the economy throws at us in the months ahead. Realtor.com anticipates that home sales in the second half of 2025 will mirror the slow spring season of this year. However, there is a silver lining. With more options available, home prices are expected to rise more gradually than they did in 2024. In some regions, prices have already started to decline, and sellers are becoming more willing to negotiate. And this is the part most people miss. The housing market's dynamics are shifting, offering both challenges and opportunities. As we navigate this landscape, understanding these trends can empower buyers and sellers alike to make informed decisions. What do you think? Is the current approach by the Federal Reserve justified, or should they take more aggressive action to lower interest rates? Share your thoughts in the comments below.